When you are depressed, you don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to be bothered with anyone. But overcoming depression is going to require that you get up and engage with life again. When you are feeling down, the worst thing you can do is isolate yourself, because isolation actually intensifies sadness. So I recommend finding a distraction that will shift your energy. Beginning in my early 20s, I began to notice some of the symptoms of mild depression. For years, I struggled with worry, anxiety, and feelings of hopelessness. Whenever I experienced a minor setback, I would be hard on myself and I would become extremely discouraged. For some reason, it was hard for me to believe that I could get through difficult situations. I know from personal experience that depression has a way of transforming a typically happy and outgoing person into someone who is sad, withdrawn, and frustrated with life. But my background and my expertise didn't stop me from encountering my own dark moments that even my family and close friends knew nothing about. And I didn't just feel down every now and then. I went through depression. I went through a persistent feeling of sadness and hopelessness. I lost interest in many of the things that I previously enjoyed, and I honestly felt like my family and friends would be better off without me. I felt like a failure. I felt insufficient. I felt like I couldn't take life anymore. And so I know what it feels like to not want to get out of bed. I know what it feels like to experience deep and distressing hurt that seems impossible to push through. I had pretended to be happy for so long that no one would have believed me if I told them that I was struggling with depression. But now that I'm on the other side of it, I'm glad I didn't forfeit all that I've been able to experience and accomplish. So while you might feel discouraged, you don't have to be discouraged, because brighter days are coming. Because I always felt alone in my battle, I didn't realize just how common depression was. I had no idea that 1 out of 10 people will experience depression during their lifetime. Do me a favor. Check on the people who are close to you. In most instances, the people who appear happy and appear strong are rarely asked how they are doing, because people assume their lives are perfect. You may not have considered this, but sometimes the person who is smiling every time you see them is privately battling depression. And so the first step in overcoming depression is acknowledging that something must change. You cannot fix what you do not face. Suppression, denial, and pretending that everything is okay is not going to help you feel better. Yes, you can fool everyone else, but you can't fool yourself. You can't fool the person in the mirror, the person that you look at every single day. And I get it. When you appear to have it all together, it's not easy to let your guard down and say, hey, I'm struggling. I remember wondering how it was that I could lift everyone else up, but when it came to my own situation, I felt hopeless. But my situation began to improve only when I had the courage to confront the fact that I was not as happy as I appeared to be. I was suppressing the wound of rejection. I was suppressing childhood trauma, and I was harboring anger. So let me say this. Uprooting anger and bitterness is not an easy thing to do. But at the end of the day, holding on to it does impact your physical, emotional, and mental health. So I say today, let it go. Let it go. I knew that I could no longer hold on to the anger that I was harboring because it was literally stealing my joy. And so today, I say I want you to set yourself free. Set yourself free from the emotional turmoil that has been disrupting your peace. So after finally overcoming depression, I promised myself that I would put in the work necessary to experience authentic happiness. Not happiness based upon my circumstances, but happiness based upon a personal decision. And so now I'm mindful of when I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I need to take a mental break, or when I need to utilize my support system. I'm challenging you to refuse to succumb to the negative thoughts that attempt to make you feel like your life will never get better. Remind yourself that you deserve to be happy and that your life will get better. When you are depressed, you don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to be bothered with anyone. So I recommend finding a distraction that will shift your energy. You could turn on some uplifting music, watch an inspirational video, go for a walk, or call someone who will make you laugh. The key to feeling better is doing the exact opposite of what you feel like doing. You've got to get up. You've got to connect with others, especially when you don't feel like it. You have to find ways to avoid sinking because despair diminishes your productivity. In most instances, anxiety stems from a past experience or an anticipation of a negative experience. When you feel anxiety trying to creep in, you have to shift your focus from "this is not fair" or "why am I having to deal with this" to "I may not be feeling my best right now, but I will not allow worry or fear to sabotage the gift of this moment." Though it may feel natural to allow your mind to wander into worry and despair, you actually reinforce negative thinking by not challenging it. Your thoughts are impressions. They are not your identity. So be mindful of your thought patterns and interrupt them before they get out of control. Overcoming depression and committing to happiness takes work, but it is not impossible. Yes, mistakes happen. But making a mistake does not mean that you are a failure. Overcoming depression is not an overnight process. It takes work. For some, happiness comes easy, but for most of us, happiness requires intention. Are you willing to fight for your happiness? It is my hope that joy and peace will track you down and give you the endurance you need to keep pushing. You may not be where you want to be right now, but you are still here. You are still standing, and you still have an opportunity to create a new path.